All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're dissecting a scenario that is honestly, absolutely chilling. We're looking at a hypothetical documentary script created by World Under Stress Productions. It maps out a terrifying what-if scenario, a total collapse of the United States food supply chain. And the scariest part? It charts this entire disaster over the course of just 7 days. We're going to go through this production document step by step to uncover exactly how fragile the systems keeping our grocery stores stocked truly are. So let's jump right in. Get a load of this opening hook, pulled straight from the introduction of the source text. Most Americans are exactly 9 meals away from anarchy. Think about that for a second. If you eat 3 meals a day, that is exactly 3 days. That's it. That is the only buffer standing between normal, everyday life and total societal breakdown. It brilliantly and terrifyingly establishes the massive stakes of our modern vulnerability right out of the gate. All right, part 1, the fragile thread, the illusion of plenty. You walk into a grocery store today and it feels invincible, right? Brightly lit aisles packed all the way to the ceiling. But it's totally an illusion built on one specific concept, the just-in-time delivery system. The script defines this as a logistical miracle of efficiency that holds absolutely zero reserves. Instead of massive warehouses storing months of food, goods are just perpetually in motion on trucks, arriving exactly when they're needed on the shelf. It's highly profitable, sure, but it's the exact reason why the impending collapse in the scenario happens so incredibly fast. When the gears stop turning, there is literally nothing in the back room to save us. Now, what's really fascinating here is the raw production document itself, dated June 12, 2026. It lays out the technical and creative requirements for Episode 3, What If America's Food Supply Chain Collapsed in 7 Days? It targets documentarian enthusiasts and people who follow geopolitics, aiming for this really urgent, authoritative tone. Just seeing this mapped out on paper makes the hypothetical feel incredibly tangible. Moving on to Section 2, the silent trigger, days 1 and 2. So how exactly does a modern superpower fall? It doesn't start with bombs dropping or massive natural disaster. It begins with an invisible, highly coordinated cyber attack on major logistics and freight management software. 2.2 million. That's the staggering number of heavy-duty trucks that instantly freeze on the highways on day 1. The digital arteries of the nation are just severed. And the craziest part about this section of the script, the public has no idea. People are sitting down to dinner completely oblivious to the fact that the nation's entire fleet has just stopped moving. Then day 2 hits, and the illusion completely shatters. The first whispers of shortages hit social media, triggering the very first wave of panic. And this brilliantly illustrates the immediate real-world impact. That just-in-time inventory, gone in a flash. Retailers who usually get daily shipments see their shelves stripped bare in a matter of hours. Perishables like milk, bread, and meat are the first casualties. Over on the secondary markets, the price of a gallon of milk suddenly triples. The panic buying acts like gasoline on a fire, draining whatever tiny reserves were left. Which brings us to Section 3, the breaking points, days 3 and 4. The production notes really ramp up the pacing here into what they call the chaos segment. We see this terrifying, unbreakable cause and effect loop on day 3. Step 1, no trucks. Because there are no trucks, Step 2 happens. Gas stations run completely dry. And because there's no fuel, you hit Step 3. There is zero transport for workers to get to their jobs. That includes the exact people needed to fix the infrastructure. The supply chain isn't just broken at this point, it's literally paralyzed in a vicious cycle. Looking at the stage directions for day 4, things get incredibly dark. The narration drops a brutal truth. Hunger is the ultimate agitator. Law enforcement is stretched way too thin as the food riots transition from pure desperation into highly organized looting right around distribution hubs. These places used to be the beating heart of commerce, and now they're basically described as fortresses under siege. Let's just take a breath and look at the dizzying speed of this degradation curve. In just 96 hours, we go from a silent cyber glitch on day 1 to bare shelves on day 2, absolute logistical gridlock on day 3, and organized looting by day 4. This timeline shows us exactly how fast a global superpower tears itself apart when you pull the plug on food security. All right, Section 4, the shadow economy. Day 5. The production notes tell the director to drop all the vibrant colors here for a cold, desaturated blue-gray reality. On one side, you have a crisp $100 bill. On the other, a single can of peaches. The script makes a really chilling point here. Fiat currency instantly loses all meaning when there is literally nothing left to buy. The dollar becomes completely worthless. Suddenly, a shadow economy takes over, where that single can of peaches holds way more tangible value than a $100 bill. And this leads to some incredibly visceral realities out in everyday neighborhoods. The script notes that suburban driveways become hand-to-hand bartering grounds. People are trading canned goods for silver or fuel. Neighbors are forming watches, and the script powerfully emphasizes this, they aren't looking out for thieves anymore. They are organizing purely for survival. The whole fabric of the community just unravels and stitches itself back together around basic sustenance. Finally, Section 5, the new reality, Day 6 and 7. By Day 6, the frantic chaos kind of burns out into this grim realization as the government finally steps in with some desperate but ultimately futile measures. The Defense Production Act is invoked, National Guard convoys are deployed into empty streets. They're trying to seize whatever grain silos are left, secure cold storage, even attempting to print ration cards. Martial law is officially declared coast to coast. But here's the thing, they slam right into a brutal logistical paradox. It's summed up perfectly in this stark line from the script. You can't bayonet a shortage. You just can't. You cannot move mountains of food without the exact trucking infrastructure that just collapsed. The entire military might of the nation is practically useless against a decentralized supply chain failure. Weapons simply don't generate calories. Even the sound design notes add a haunting layer to this. For the first 4 days, the documentary uses this low-frequency rhythmic drone called the pulse. But as we hit Day 5 and move through Day 7, they introduce the silence. The instructions literally say to pull all ambient city noise, no traffic, no sirens at all, and replace it with wind and distant echoing sounds. It is such a brilliant storytelling device to symbolize the dark, isolated pockets of a fallen America. And that brings us to the final lingering thought of the script, as the camera slowly zooms out on a silent, dark America on Day 7. Civilization was built on a thread, and we let it snap. This explainer isn't just diving into a hypothetical script. It really holds a mirror up to our very real reliance on just-in-time delivery. It leaves us with a huge, provocative question. Is our own relentless pursuit of efficiency just a catastrophe waiting to happen? Are you prepared for when the trucks actually stop? Thanks so much for joining me on this one, and keep questioning the systems around you.